Part 3. We're here on the food truck. The brisket has been trimmed. We talked about where we got it. We trimmed it all. A bunch of us trimmed a brisket. We brought it here very early in the morning, seasoned it up. Leroy and Lewis Dalmatian rub available on our website. This is the stuff right here. This is Michael's secret stuff. We smoked it all day. We wrapped it up. We battled with an annoying fire and some windy conditions. Pulled it off last night. Checked it for tenderness. Put it in the warmer. I got here early this morning and everything felt great. Looked great. It was a really nice morning. Sunrise was really nice. Didn't snow. Got some coffee. So we're gonna check a couple of these guys. Here's one of them. Let's see what we're resting at, what we're chilling at here. Over 140, that's good. It's exactly where we want to be. It's warm enough to where I can hold it indefinitely. It's not too hot. Beautiful crust is preserved. It's relaxed even more than yesterday. You see how it's like, it's not completely falling apart, but if I wanted to, I could just go right through if I wanted to. That's how you tell when the brisket is perfectly done. And that feels perfectly done. Just a little bit of juices down in there. This is how we rest the briskets. This was the one that was finished all the way tender last night. Sort of 140 in there. The other ones were all in there. They were like 190 and above. So this one feels, look, it just looks and feels very similar. I could just penetrate that bottom if I wanted to. Just it looks great. What's the internal on this one? 146, 147. Let's check the prime. So last night it was set at 180. Food texture 2, so when we left it was holding around 210, but that was just residual heat from the briskets when I put it in there. I got here this morning, it was reading 174, so probably peaked around 212 or so in there, but that doesn't mean that the briskets inside themselves got that hot. But the residual heat from the briskets and the heat in there probably carried them to around 200 degrees. I mean, I can say around 200 because they feel like they were completely finished and nice and tender. This is the prime, and same thing on the back. I can just kind of separate it if I wanted to, but it's not, it's not completely falling apart. This is exactly what we're looking for. That looks like a good brisket. Cut this one. You got your classic 12-inch Dexter Russell serrated slicer, perfect for cutting loaves of bread and briskets. So this is kind of small, but this is where you can see Brad kind of made that cut down and then that swoop out. So that's kind of where we would want to separate it. I might even cheat it up just a little bit. What we want to think about when we're cutting the brisket first is how long are these fatty slices going to be? That's really the kind of factor that we want to consider, because we want to be able to cut 1/4-inch slices from this, and if it's, if I cut it all the way down here, it's a little too long, that's going to be hard to cut a 1/4-inch slice like that. So if I can kind of cheat up a little bit to maybe like right here, that's going to allow me to pretty easily cut some 1/4-inch slices. I'm going to make that cut right pretty much exactly where he had that down swoop. When I'm cutting through it, the first thing I'm going to try to do is just move the blade nice and quickly across the crust to get through the crust, then keep going through the meat, and then the last thing I want to do is make sure I drag the tip of the blade on the bottom so I kind of get a really nice complete separation. Not a lot of downward pressure, really just using the teeth and the sharpness and the quick motion to kind of cut through it. All right, here we go. Look at that. Doesn't get much better than that, folks. Cut a couple lean slices here. Going for about the thickness of a pencil, 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch. I like to try to kind of keep my knuckle against back where I'm going to slice here. That allows me to guide exactly how long I want or how thick I want these slices to be. Nice and even. Look at that. Nice and tender. Just got to flop away. Right into my mouth. So another kind of note about slicing and carving. Like carve a piece, kind of like set it down, shingle it out, make sure it looks really nice. When we're putting something down on a tray, we want to make sure we know exactly where we're going to put it and place it without kind of moving it around. It's going to make sure we don't get a bunch of grease all over the tray. So that's the lean. I'll probably cut, a couple more slices off of that. And then depending on how good the tip looks, you can serve it all the way to the back or put this on sandwiches, or even just kind of cut that and use it for some chopped beef. But if you got a cut side, either put it down on the cutting board or back up against your cut side here. But we'll talk about that in just a second. Now we'll carve the fatty side. This is the really beautiful burn end piece. This is where we took that huge fat piece out. So I'm going to try to make these first burn ends kind of nice and square. So I want like a nice even kind of piece here. So it's going to be thicker than my slices going down the rest of it. But just cut through that nice burn end right there. And look at that. If we didn't take that out, there'd be a bunch of fat right there. A little bit thicker than the lean slices. Look at that slice of brisket. Could have done a little bit better there, but that's fine. Just like that. That's perfect. This piece right here is so good. So I'm going to try to shingle these two. You just cut your burn ends a little bit. I'm going to go for one more one more fatty slice. Like that. Shingled them out. Set down on the tray. We got our cut sides here so they don't oxidize. We'll put them together. Then we'll put those back in our boat. Kind of throw our burn ends on the side there. And then just kind of form the boat back around it so it doesn't oxidize as much. And it goes back in the warmer. Also just want to talk about building a tray. We'll kind of start with what we want to put in the middle of the brisket and then kind of build everything around the sides of it. So if we wanted to put more meats, we have a little bit more room up here. I'm just going to do some sides and some garnish and pickles though and let the brisket be the star of the show here. We kind of want to think about color, so we've already got some like brown meat on here. I want to put something green. I'm going to throw some kale slaw.
What happens in this fridge, Evan?
This is where all the magic happens, baby. You can see I have the brisket kind of offset here. I don't really want anything just like super like, even like clean lines. I kind of want everything like just off a little bit, and that's going to help kind of make it look really good. The only thing I see right here is that is just making me upset. I don't like that. But everything, stuff is down on the tray. I can't move it now. I'm going to keep garnishing this plate. Throw a little bit of pickles and kimchi and jalapenos down. Just try to fill in anywhere there's not paper with other nice, beautiful garnishes. Think about color, plate composition. I think I've got room for another side down here. It's another reason we like our barbecue sauces. The beet sauce, it's nice and beautiful. Really good color. Mustard sauce, a little yellow on there.
Pepper is my favorite.
Beautiful.
It's a nice little tray.
Looks like a good breakfast.
Go for a lean piece. That's what you want right there, man. So good. A crust. Masa.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Never gets old.
Doesn't get old.
Are you a sauce on brisket kind of guy?
If it's good sauce. I think our sauce is really good and it complements the brisket well, so if it's good, yeah.
Do you prefer the beet over the mustard?
For brisket, I think I like the beet sauce. It's because it's a little more forceful. Kind of stands up to the beefiness. All of our pork products I like with the mustard sauce. I'm gonna get some of this fatty. It's incredibly good. Just look at that. That perfect rendering, that crustiness. You can see how crusty it is. Cheers. It's good. I need a palate break. I'm just gonna eat some sausage.
It's amazing with that much rub and like salt and pepper on there. That is
So good.
always perfectly seasoned.
I know.
Like every time.
I'll just keep eating brisket out here all day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.